when I'm on my iPad, it's different buttons than when I'm on my Mac or on my PC. So this is the PC, and I'm finding the record button, which is I did, so we're good. Yay. All right, now that we have Diane, I'll start.
Hey, Diane. Happy
Hi.
New Year.
Hey, Happy New Year to you guys. I just got out of a meeting. Sorry, I'm late.
That's
You're
okay.
good. Happy you're here.
Yeah.
All right, so let's take a moment, take a breath, and recognize that there is only God. One power, one creative force that is everywhere present in and through and as everything that exists. And that power right now is God. It is in me and through me and as me, in Kim and through Kim and as Kim, in Diane and through Diane and as Diane, and everywhere else as well. It's in every electron, in every computer. It's everywhere. It's God. And so I know that this time that we share together, because it's all God, is good in every way. And there is some spark of intelligence that moves through the words that are shared today and into each of us, sparking something that we need to know. And I know that it is good and very good. And I give thanks for this time that we share together, knowing it is perfect in every way. As I release this prayer into the law that just says yes, and we affirm it together by saying, and so it is.
And so it is. Wow, that was great. That was really motivating.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So I want to welcome everybody. This is our first Thrive of 2025. Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So, yeah, so the question that I want to start out with is, just simply by asking, how are you? Are you feeling excited about the new year? What do I want to say? What kind of weight is that holding in your mind right now? Because it does seem in our humanness that, every first of the year, they're like, okay, it's time to quit doing this and quit doing that. And let's do this and let's do that. And, put all this pressure on us to do things differently. And so how do you feel about that? Are you feeling excited about 2025? Or maybe you're feeling maybe a little cautious? I think I've spoke to some people who seem to have like the wait and see attitude. Let's see what happens before I open my mouth. Because I think we've all been at the place or had a time in our lives when we did embrace the new year with, much excitement and possibility, and just excited about what could be, and maybe possibly got let down a little bit, or maybe that year wasn't memorable for happy reasons. And it seems like, we've been through a lot. We've been through a lot when we think about, COVID and, just the last 3 years. I'm not familiar with anyone saying that it's been spectacularly amazing, right? I
haven't heard that either.
Yeah, I haven't heard that said very much. So, in this place of, this gives us an opportunity this evening to really be authentic and really be honest about where we're at and how we're feeling. Because I feel like it does put on some pressure to say, oh yeah, I'm excited about the new year, when you're really not. you, you know, you, like I said, you may be hiding around the corner, peeking out the window going, yeah, I'm just gonna see how this goes, kind of thing. And it seems like there, you know, it seems like over this past year or more that there has been some worldly events that have surprised us, that came out of left field maybe a little bit, that were not expected. And as we know, the media continues to kind of turn up the volume on what they portray is going on. Even the weather, like if you watch the weather, it's like, oh my gosh, thunderstorm. And, you know, yeah, a couple lightning bolts and a little bit of rain, and it was gone in 20 minutes. But if you listen to that newscast, you know, they were really sent, I guess what you would say is sent, I don't think I can say the word
Sensationalized.
thank you, thank you, sensationalizing what was going on. So what the question or the opportunity I think that we have to think about or reflect about is, how can 2025 be different than any other year previously? Even in the midst, right? Even in the midst of so much change going on in our world, even in the midst of that, how can 2025 really be so much more different than anything that you've experienced so far in your life? So with that being said, excuse me, I'm going to talk about race consciousness a little bit. So for those not familiar with the term, race consciousness is just kind of an agreed upon idea that everybody agrees with, to wrap it up in a nutshell. So for example, it could be, you know, Fridays are wonderful, Mondays are awful, that kind of thing. It's a common idea that everybody has about a certain thing. So when we talk about, we have the opportunity to strip away anything that's external, right? If we're looking at 2025 and we desire this year to be different, we desire this year to be different than anything we've ever experienced previously, how are we going to make it different? We know that our thoughts create, that that we are the directors of our own movies. And honestly, you know, if I wake up and I think I'm going to have a bad day, I stub my toe on the bed and trip over the dog and all those kind of wonderful things, you'll notice, pay attention, because you can do this as a test for yourself. See how your day progresses based upon the amount of positivity that you have in your thoughts. So when we talk about 2025 being different than any other year previously, we just want to take the opportunity to strip away and let go of external things, race conscious beliefs like, oh, it's a Monday, Mondays always suck, or, you know, I'm having a bad hair day, so it's just a bad day. You know, I've got a dentist appointment, I've got a checkup, I've got to do my taxes, you know, all those things that we don't like. And then we get into it a little bit deeper. And this is going to be a big leap from Mondays suck, but we have a moment to reflect on our past, our lives up until, I think it's human nature to do that at the beginning of the year, right? It's human nature to look back on the last year of your life and say, okay, what do I want to do differently? And, you know, what did I love about 2024? What were the moments that lit me up? What were the moments that filled my heart? You know, what were the moments that made me laugh? And then we ask the other questions. What were the moments that weren't so good about 2024? We have the opportunity to look at past relationships, maybe disappointments, maybe betrayals, and maybe some painful moments. And as we strip away these externals, what's the common denominator? The common denominator is that beautiful face sitting at the computer screen right now. That's the common denominator, right? So we have this beautiful opportunity. And I'm going to back up here a minute. So as I know that humans can be humans, not only do we have pasts, we have hurts, we have possible betrayals and disappointments, whether it be a relationship or it doesn't matter. We have all of us have all of that. We also have judgments. We also have assumptions. And we also sometimes can tell stories. And what I mean by all that is, you know, I can make up stories in my head about maybe the look that the cashier gave me at the store. You know, maybe she gave me a snooty. She gave me a snooty look. And, you know, maybe that day I was wearing my pajamas to the grocery store. Who knows? I might do that. I can't say that I haven't. Usually I have a coat to cover it up, but it's the point that there are judgments going on in our minds as we go about our day as to what's going to happen or what is possible, all those kind of things. And when we look into the camera, just like we're looking now at our computer screen and looking at the camera, the common denominator is each of us, that we are the individual in charge of what we think, how we feel, and how we behave. It's not externally outside of us. It's not based on, you know, did my boyfriend call me today? Did my daughter do this or that? It's not based on people doing things for you in external circumstances. Happiness, joy is up to you. And it starts with each of us and it ends with each of us. So we have the opportunity as we get into this beautiful January 2nd of 2025 is to create a clean slate. So how do we create a clean slate with us, with ourselves individually to create 2025 to be bigger, better, and more different and happier and more joyful than any year we've lived previously on this planet? So I'm going to invite you to go deeper. And when we think about judgments, assumptions, and the stories that we might make up in our minds about ourselves and possibly about others, we can't leave them out, right? You know, we get in patterns. Sometimes those stories that we tell get in a pattern. So like I have friends that, let's just say, are always late. So what happens when that person is always late? They're always, you think of that every time they come up in your thoughts, right? You've got that judgment going on that they're always late, or you've got, and it seems like the judgments that we have upon ourselves and others, it can carry forward. Like, you really have to make a effort to let go of that, to release that judgment, to release you. It just doesn't happen. You really have to be, feels like it's best to be intentional about it. So when we're intentional about it, who does it start with? Again, it starts with us. Because the way that it works is, if I'm being judgmental to a friend, to a family member, to a whoever, to a grocery clerk, what do you think the likelihood of me being judgmental to myself is? It goes hand in hand. So I've really been deeply contemplating this thought. And the desire has been, how can 2025 be different than any other year? And it starts with you. It starts with me. So we have the opportunity, the invitation for this evening is to hold ourselves harmless, to learn how to hold ourselves harmless. And when we hold ourselves harmless, what do you think the opportunity is for how that may benefit our relationships with others? If we can turn within and hold ourselves harmless for every moment that maybe we made a mistake, or maybe the choice wasn't the best, or whatever the case may be, when we can hold ourselves harmless, we then can do it with others. We can't put out into the world what we desire if we can't do it in our own relationship with ourselves first. So that's why we're starting right here with each of us. So I'm going to invite you to, we're going to do a little meditation, and I'm just going to invite you to get comfortable in your seat. Oh, excuse me. And we're just going to relax. We're just absolutely going to relax and come into this moment and just breathe. And let's take a couple deep breaths. And right now, I just want to invite you to close your eyes. And just in your mind's eye, picture you, yourself, sitting in the most peaceful place, comfortable place. Like, go to your happy place, whatever it be, a cloud, a lake, sitting by the river, being in nature. Just go to your happy place, a place where you feel completely at peace. And from that happy place, just create an opportunity to think about and release any judgments that you've had about yourself. Maybe it's maybe it's something from the past, maybe it's something current, maybe it's a long-term judgment. Just bring it up into your thought. And just as you see how the morning mist, that vapor, that mist, just see that judgment just vaporize, just disappear. It was a big object or a big thing, and now it's vaporized into nothing. And as each judgment, maybe it's an assumption, maybe it's a story that you've written about yourself, allow it to come up into your thoughts. And now just let's see it vaporize into the nothingness from which it came. And let's do one more. Let's do one more judgment that you have about yourself. A judgment, an assumption, a story that you've been telling about yourself. Short term, long term. So bring it up into your mind's eye. Just allow it to vaporize into the nothingness. And now I would like you to bring up your friends, your family, and see yourself sitting in the middle of the circle. And see all of the people that you're connected with around you in a circle, and you are in the middle of that circle. You are looking at them and they are looking at you. And from this place of really the purity of God, that you were made in God's image and likeness, that your heart is the purity of God. It is nothing but pure love. Your heart is joy and happiness, collaboration. That warmth of love radiates out from you to everyone in your circle, to each person. So as you're sitting in your circle, you're looking at each person and sending them love, and then going to the next person and sending them love, and continuing that with everyone in your circle. This healing, may it be grace-filled, that you have extended grace not only to yourself, but to others. That all judgments, all assumptions, all stories have been released, erased, and let go of. And that it is in this place of pure love that love is now flourishing, fully flourishing. That all the channels and all the reasonings and all the things, the fear, the lack, the limitation, the hesitation, the reservation, whatever it is, has been let go of. That there is a beam of joy and love and trust and faith in that circle. It has been renewed. It has been reignited. It has been uplifted, not only with the relationship with yourself, but in all of your relationships. That by divine appointment, by you hearing and attending today or listening to this message at another time, that yes, and you too, that you have been healed, that forgiveness has been not only received by you from yourself, and it has been extended out from you to those that are in your life, to those that are in your circle. So that there is a renewal, a revitalization, a new harmony within your life, within your relationship with yourself, and with your relationships with others. So we just close this out, this meditation out, knowing that it is done. And we give great thanks for the joy and the love that continues to flow at the most purest and highest. We affirm this good by saying, and so it is. Amen.
So it is.
So in closing, I just would like to say that, this could be an opportunity for a daily spiritual practice, a weekly spiritual practice. Forgiveness it's good work. It's imperative work to keep your soul happy and to keep, lightheartedness in your heart and fun and joy. We wonder, it's kind of like, doing maintenance on a car. You got to clean it up once in a while. So, this is a opportunity to do that with yourself. Gift yourself the power of forgiveness, the power of compassion and grace. And again, as you're able to do that with yourself, the better able you'll be able to do that with others. Because I believe But that's where we're headed to, is a new earth. That's where we're headed to as we move forward in our evolution of humanity, that we all will love without hesitation. That love will be the first thing we do, not the last thing we do. So I want to thank you for tuning into our channel. And Reverend Sue Ellen, would you mind sharing the donation information?
Okay. Let me call it up. If I could type, it would be easier. 405-337-9739. And the word is trust. 405-337-9739. Or you could go to inner-journey.org, and there's a donate button on the website, which essentially takes you to the same place.
Awesome. Well,
it was interesting initially when you said, you know, what are we doing and how do we feel and all that kind of stuff. And I generally take the day before, I take New Year's Eve to assess where I've been for the last year. And I write out intentions or goals, whatever you want to do. And I had 1,293 intentions for 2024. I know.
Oh, sorry.
I know.
Wow.
But it started from somebody that said, that I heard a talk that said you need to have 101 goals, because if you just have one or two and then you get them done, then you're rudderless. But if you have a whole bunch, then you've always got something to work on. So over the years, I've got goals in multiple categories like travel and personal finance and work and so on and so forth. So I've got 12 categories that have goals in them. And last year I had 1,293 goals. But that was along with that is that I'm going to walk 260 days out of my, so that's 260 right there. I mean, because I said I was going to walk 260 days out of the 365. So that, you know, they add up quickly when you do things like that. I'm going to read 12 spiritual books. I'm going to write 12 newsletters. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? So the numbers, they may seem high, but they add up. And so when I went back through, and some of them I really work on each, you know, like Inner Journey, doing the newsletter, etc. But some of them I just put down. And, you know, they're place keepers. I'm not going to visit all 17 places that are in my travel list in any one year. Things get added to it and then they drop off when I go there. And it's like, okay, well, I've done that now. I don't need to do it again, kind of thing. Or it's go visit the family and I do need to do it again. So out of my 1,293, I accomplished 974.
Wow.
Which is over 75%.
That's amazing.
It is. So when I sat down and I looked at my categories, and I didn't change any of the categories, but I did take some stuff off and put some stuff on. And then yesterday, I made a new list, and it came up with 1,300 and something on this year's list. And that's okay. It feels good. And I'm kind of trying to figure out how I'm going to work at it. But I think what I'm going to do with it is, it's like, if I say I want to be more spiritual, I mean, more in alignment with, because my first page is spiritual goals. And the first thing is I want to be more in tune with, more in alignment with my divine self. Then how do I measure that? That's one thing. Goals need to be measurable if you're going to have goals per se. Well, I can't measure it easily. I don't have my spiritual meter and say, oh, it's up to here today. I just don't go there. But I have the ability to do things that are more spiritual than other things. So keeping the gratitude journal, writing in my gratitude journal every day, or doing the daily spiritual practice, or doing spiritual readings, or prayer, or meditation. And that's fine. So perhaps I might decide if I want to increase that, then I want to increase it by doubling the amount of meditation time. Well, if I pick something to work on in all 12 categories, I'm going to be burned out by January 15th, right? But if I work on something and work on it for 90 days, it's then a habit. So for example, if I say, okay, now I'm going to do 15 minutes meditation in the morning and 15 minutes meditation in the evening, and I'm going to do that for 90 days. And then I'm going to do some other goal in some other area and just work on 2 for 90 days. Well, at the end of the 90 days, those 2 things come to pass if they're things that are, accomplished that you do, like, I don't know, take a trip, or they're a habit, and I can go on and add another habit. Does that make sense? Not too long ago, I was reading something, May McCarthy's Path to Wealth or something like that, Pathway to Wealth. And she had in it to do a forgiveness routine every night when you go to bed. So when you go to bed at night, you do this, I say, please forgive me for anything I've done to anybody during the day that I'm aware of or not aware of. Just please forgive me. And please have them forgive me for doing that. And then I forgive anybody who's done anything to me. So your forgiveness thing that you're talking about, Kim, is a part of what I do every night now when I go to bed. I'm laying there, I'm closing my eyes, getting ready to drop off, and it's time for me to go, oh yeah, please forgive me. Let me forgive everybody that's done anything. New habit. Started about 6 weeks ago, I guess, or maybe 8. But habit now.
I used to, years ago, I did like a forgiveness Saturday. So every Saturday, I would kind of reassess the past week and go through the forgiveness process. And I really miss that. I really feel like I'm going to bring that back in because it was powerful. And for me, the day of the week was very relevant. Because Saturday's kind of like, I don't know, I had it in my mind that Saturday's my free day, and I could concentrate. It seems like I could give more focus and concentration to it for, like an hour every Saturday. And it would help me write my talks better on Sunday. Your fine tune or whatever I was doing, but it's important. It's definitely very important. I'm still on here. Oh, she's in the fridge.
She turns her head and talks to the trees.
Right. I'm going in the woods.
It's a beautiful backdrop.
Thank you.
I love it. Did you take that picture?
Oh no.
Gorgeous.
Cool. I have done, and multiple times in my life, I've done the forgiveness 70 times 7. So I've written out, I forgive so-and-so for such and such 70 times for 7 days straight. So the Bible forgives 70 times 7. And then this next 7 days is always, I forgive myself for whatever it was I was judging them on or putting out there. I forgive them for whatever they did, but then I forgive me for. setting the situation up. So two pieces of the same side. In anticipation, I think anticipation is the word. I feel like I'm in a place of anticipation, of expectation, of something good is coming. I don't know what. So I'm sitting here in a place of, okay, it's going to happen. It's like there's going to be a surprise party, and I don't know when, and I don't know who, and I don't know where, and I don't know why, but it's coming. It's like somebody, there's got to be a surprise party for you.
Aw.
I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know, but that's the feeling that I have going into this year. It's like, okay,
Nice.
yeah. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I have felt that way years previous. I can't say that I'm really feeling that way this year. And maybe that's what spurred this talk. And I think the only thing that I could add was the fact that I have a hard time with the word forgiveness. And holding harmless really allowed me, it felt like I went deeper.
yeah.
Yeah. Like to me, and I know everybody's got their words that they don't like, or that I wouldn't say that they don't like, but they're challenged. They're can propose challenge or be challenging for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Diane, what about you?
I love this conversation. I think it's wonderful. My general disposition is one of optimism. The way I approach life is through that lens. And I tend to be excited about tomorrow, excited about today, and just excited about new opportunities. And so whenever, as a race, we have this race consciousness of the new year, right? Everybody, well, not everybody, but many people in general, you do the New Year's resolutions, or as you very nicely said, Reverend Sue Ellen, how you reflect on what transpired, but also project really what your intentions are, or goals, whatever word we want to use to describe it. There's like this pattern of many people doing that at this time of year because we've gone from one year to another. So I tend to do the same. I tend to do the same. I've used lots of different little templates and different kinds of questions that will help guide me, through that internal reflection and intention holding for the future. And CSL and many of the dear people that I've met through the Community for Spiritual Living, have provided a lot of different ways of doing that. So again, I start this by saying I'm optimistic by nature, and so I look forward to this year. I also believe very dearly that, as you said nicely, Kim, that we are in control of our inner being. We are, we control our thoughts and our views and our perspective and our interactions, how we respond to things, how we maybe feel like we've harmed people or harmed ourselves and don't hold ourselves harmless, or we don't forgive ourselves or don't forgive others. And, it's our choice to, like you very nicely said, wow, love without hesitation. Have love be the first thing that we do versus the last thing. That's our choice. That's our choice. So I get excited about choice. I've always been one that's excited about choice. I look at how I reflect and what I've done professionally and what I consciously educated myself to do and how it afforded me to do many different opportunities. So I'm excited. I'm excited. And I tell you one thing, Reverend Sue Ellen, this little book that you sent, I love it. So this year, what I've done for my intention setting for next year, or goal setting, whatever you want to call it, I sat down, I read this little darn thing, and I'm doing what they're saying, right? They're saying that, think of what you want. Write down what you want. Write it down. And then, in other words, set your intentions on what do you want. And if you want to do that for this year, you can say, this is what I want for this year, or this is what I want for the next 30 days. But in any event, this little process of how to make your dreams come true starts with setting the intention, being clear on that intention, and then actually focusing on that, right? And it recommends you focus on it by reading that list on a recurring manner 3 times a day. It actually stipulates how often, and to think about what it is you want, and thoughts become things. I believe that. I really believe that. I truly do. Just be intentional. So I'm optimistic. Now I'm not glossing over the fact that maybe I am. I mean, I have funky stuff in my life? Yes. Do I have stuff in my background that perks back up and sometimes is detrimental to my ability to be? Yes. Do I have to recurringly forgive myself? Yes. Yeah. And the meditation that you did, Kim, was wonderful, right? Because we brought those to mind, but then made them disappear. Brought it to mind. That's a beautiful thing to do, and gift yourself the forgiveness of that. I like to call myself a life learner. I think many of us are, right? And so another book I'm reading is by Karen Armstrong. I've just discovered Karen Armstrong. Wow, she's written a bunch of stuff, and this one is about compassion. Let me get it. It's right over here. So this one is 12 Steps to a Compassionate Life by Karen Armstrong. And so I want to be more compassionate. And and so that's one thing that I want to do. And that really, love and compassion. I want compassion and love to be the first thing towards myself, first thing towards others. And that is one of the big things. And I honestly believe that's how I can give to the world, right? With all the crap you read about at the national level, at the global level, all that. I want to show up with love and compassion. Anyway, I don't know if I'm answering your question or not, but
You
that,
are.
that's how I'm trying to go deeper. I'm looking at some of the things you said. I'm trying to, I want to respond with compassion and love. I don't want to respond with nastiness. That's not generally my pattern anyway. Do you know what I mean? But I just want to maybe even over respond with love and compassion. I kind of feel like, I don't know, there's just so much weirdness. And it's funny, in many of these books, right? Or like I'm reading another one about the Bible. We feel like there's so much weirdness today and nastiness and just people doing, like what happened down in New Orleans, right? Well, it seems like when I read though, a lot of that happened in the past, not using the same kind of technology or not having a Tesla truck or cyber truck, right? Exploding in Las Vegas, but there's just a lot of nastiness. I don't understand that. Seems like that's been in the human history. I don't understand that. Maybe the way to break race consciousness is to do your little part, bring compassion and love.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm kind of babbling. Yeah, maybe. And so how can 2025 be different? It does start with me, and each one of us. I agree, Tim. It starts with us. Starts with me. So this is one of the big things that I want.
Okay.
So yeah.
Affirm that for you. Absolutely. And all of us.
Yes. Cool.
So
All right.
thank you, Reverend Sue Ellen, for the little book.
You're welcome.
Thank you for the discussion, Kim.
Oh, thank you for being here. Absolutely.
Cool.
Well, I know that your new year will start out is on a very amazing path. And I hope by everyone that got to hear this talk that that it'll make a difference within your life, and that we can all move forward with a little bit more compassion and love um as we go about our life every day.
Right, I'm going to turn the recording off.